Hello everyone, welcome to our video about Think Aloud. What is Think Aloud? Now Think Aloud is a metacognitive reading technique that allows us to make our thoughts visible while we're reading. We like to say making the invisible visible because as we read, we normally don't say our thoughts aloud, we read them in our head. However, since we want to be aware of our thoughts in order to improve our reading stamina, in order to get past any obstacles that we may face, we want to make our thoughts visible as we read, and I will be modeling this for you in a second. I think the big key idea to take away from not just Think Aloud but other metacognitive techniques is that reading is equal to problem solving. Reading is equal to problem solving. We like to think that when we read a text we should either get it or not, but that's not true. No one, myself, other English professors, other people in the world, when we sit down and read a text, we get it all at once, but instead we try to understand what the text is trying to say to us. We wrestle with it and we try to solve the problems that the text presents. So Think Aloud is the first step that we'll do starting this week that really tackles how to kind of build our stamina and how to kind of get past the problems that we encounter with the text. Because if we're aware that we're encountering a particular problem, we might be able to develop more persistence in overcoming that problem, and over time this will then extend to our ability to read much longer. So if you have any questions about this after this video, do not hesitate to email me. Let us now turn to the sample Think Aloud that I will do for you. Hello and welcome to the sample portion of the Think Aloud video. The first part of the video is focused on what is the purpose of Think Aloud, defining a Think Aloud, and the theory behind a Think Aloud, whereas this portion I will be doing a Think Aloud for you so you get an idea of what you should be looking for and what you should be doing while you do a Think Aloud. Okay? So things I want you to pay attention to as I read the text. I want you to pay attention to how I make sense of the text. How do I go about through the text trying to understand the words that are presented on the page? Remember that reading is problem solving. So how do I solve the problems of the text and all that it presents to me? Do I summarize the information? Do I question the information? Do I critique the information? Do I make personal connections? Do I chop up in sections? What do I do to make sense of the text in front of me? Okay, that is what I want us to pay attention to because we will be doing a Think Aloud then as well. So I will start with the title, What is Character? Debunking the Myth of Fixed Personality, and then I'll move into the rest of the text. So here we go. So what is character? Debunking the myth of fixed. So what is character? When I see character, I think of like a cartoon character or a sense of morality. Debunking the myth of fixed personality. People usually have fixed personalities, but they aren't real. That's what this article is saying, that a person's fixed personality is mythical, so that means it's probably then something that is not fixed, it's moving. Okay, so it seems like it's an article that's going to talk about who we are as people. We've previously explored what it means to be human and what defines a quote-unquote person. Quote-unquote person. So they seem to be not defining the word, are they skeptical about the word person? Much of our understanding of personhood hinges on what we call character. Again, another word in quotes, so maybe they're trying to define these words. But what exactly is it? Here's an omnibus of definitions and insights from notable cross-disciplinary thinkers. Omnibus is that seems like it's a lot because the article has a lot of different people inside in terms of information that they're providing. Like Philip K. Dick has a quote, Helen Fisher below has a quote, and so on. So here is a lot of definitions and insights from notable cross-disciplinary thinkers, from philosophy to neuroscience to literature, underpinning which is a shared sentiment, that character is fluid. So they're really trying to maybe show cross-disciplinary or a lot of different subjects so people can believe that this is something that many experts believe. So underpinning which is a shared sentiment that character is fluid and responsive to context rather than a static and unflinching set of traits. So the article is going to be offering the idea that character is something that changes, and depending on the context we have different characters, and it's not something that just is set or fixed as the title alludes to. Philip K. Dick from the Selected Letters of Philip K. Dick. So this is what Philip K. Dick thought and wrote from, and this is taken from his Selected Letters. All right. A person's authentic nature is a series of shifting and variegated planes that establish. What does variegated mean? I see the word vary, like various, present in there. So a person's authentic nature is a series of shifting and variegated planes that establish themselves as he relates to different people. So who I am authentically is a series of shifting. So I am naturally just a shifting person with many different planes, or I guess textures to me, or layers to me, that establish themselves. So as I'm talking to different people, I have different identities, which seems kind of right, because I kind of talk to my parents differently as I talk to my friends, and so on and so on. It is created by and appears within the framework of his interpersonal relationships. So my who I am as a person is created, that it refers to who I am as a person, is created by and appears within the framework of his interpersonal relationships. So myself changes depending on who I interact with. That's a very interesting idea. And that will conclude the Think Aloud. So you'll notice that when I read, I don't read the sentence and understand 100% what it reads just by seeing the words. But really, though, I have to work at understanding the text. And it's okay for me to get stuck as long as I keep pursuing and trying to find ways to overcome the text. And this is kind of what I Think Aloud does. It allows us to pay attention to our reading style and our reading habits, and it makes us be aware of how we read in order to strengthen our reading, to make our reading just grow in terms of the stamina that we carry with our reading. And this then will conclude the video of our Think Aloud, so give it a shot.